Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. Yeah, as always, happy to have you with us, whether on the live call or the replay. And also really excited that Michelle Niver is back on the show. I think this is the third or the fourth call we're having with her. So yeah, really happy that she is back. And maybe some of you or most of you experienced her work before, and for me, it's really powerful, and also it's very, very authentic. We can feel that in the energy that she holds, and also in the messages that she shares. And also, like in all the calls we had with her, it was really inspiring, helping us to really trust who we are, trust our truth, find our truth within, and also help us to create the life that we desire, or the timeline where we feel more fulfilled, where we live as sovereign beings instead of feeling like victims, or like feeling maybe limited in creating what we want to experience. So yeah, and also the Q&As were always really, really powerful. And we also have today a Q&A as a second part of the call, where you can ask Michelle your questions. And yeah, so the subject today is Embodied Divinity in Action, Finding Purpose as Spirits on Earth. And so yeah, there will be different parts in the call, like how we can embody our divine essence, and at the same time be fully present in our human experience, this physical reality. And also she will be sharing about the ascension energies, the current ascension energies, how to navigate them, and like the reason of these energies, like why they are here and how they are supporting us in stepping into our true purpose. So yeah, so that will be the subject today. And for those of you who are new to Michelle, she is a psychic medium, trance channel, Reiki Master Teacher, health coach, and sound therapist. And she's also the founder of Sacred Awaken. So yeah, so with that, Michelle, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here again. And thank you all for listening. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
And this
wonderful.
amazing awakening that's happening in our realm. It's a very exciting time to be part of something like this. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, so let's start talking about that. Or maybe before that, for those who are new, who will be watching you in the future for the first time, if you would like to give maybe a brief introduction about your work.
Yeah, well, I'm a registered nurse, but who found out many years ago that I had psychic abilities, and that everyone really had psychic abilities, and it was just a matter of tuning in to them and learning how they worked in order to be able to utilize them more effectively in our lives. And I decided to quit my mainstream nursing job and become a massage therapist for a number of years, which led me into energy work and into the realization of what I just said about being psychic. And so now my focus is on empowering others to remember who they are here in this human body as divine consciousness in a human body, having this experience. So I do psychic readings for people, channeled sessions for people, health coaching, life coaching. I teach mediumship classes and Reiki classes, a variety of different classes, and I do coaching and mentoring. And years ago, Spirit told me to start telling people they could speak light language. And they didn't tell me to tell everyone. They only told me to tell some specific people who could do it pretty easily. So I started to do that, and pretty quickly discovered that everyone also had an ability for light language. And I learned a special way from Spirit how to activate people to speak their own language of their soul. So those are my big focuses now.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the introduction. And so yeah, let's talk about maybe the first part is about the ascension energies. And like we talked about before we start the call, that's there are some who are experiencing as maybe accelerated flow or moving forward in their path, and others it's more can be very challenging. for them. So I would love if you can talk about that and what does it mean, like each the two different dualities of the experience that can be that we can have.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time with regard to like the what we call the ascension energies or the changes in the energies of our realm. We are in a time right now of unprecedented cosmic radiation. We've never measured this much in our history, and all of that is information. All of that energy is information. We are in a there are cycles that happen here on this planet, you could say, and there's a 6,000 year cycle and a 12,000 year cycle, and those cycles create a reset. There's a magnetic shift that happens within the planet, and the natural result of that is a weakened magnetosphere. The magnetic protection around the planet becomes much thinner, and so we have new energy coming in. We're also receiving energy from what's called the galactic current sheet, and that's a lot of new energy as well. And so what I see is that we're connecting in with a more variety of different types of energy than we've ever felt before. And that's affecting us. That's affecting our bodies. That's affecting our DNA. And it's, for lack of a better word, upgrading us in a lot of ways. And so with regard to the two different the duality between how some people are feeling it versus other people, it has, I'll talk about ascension, the ascension energies, like in terms of that, these energies that are coming through, we're not used to that. And so if we're not used to a certain energy, we have to find a way to get used to it, basically. And so sometimes if our life is really difficult, or our health is not quite where it needs to be, or maybe our energy is could use some improvement, then those other energies, the new energies that are coming in, they're going to be more uncomfortable for us. And the other thing that's happening is that everyone here, everyone who's going to listen to this is empathic and has probably stronger abilities than other people who are not listening to this. And that means we are the people who are going to be more sensitive to the frequencies, all the frequencies. And that means processed things that are man-made, like processed foods and sugars and just ultra processed things that the body really doesn't recognize anymore as its original form. Those things are using more energy than what they're giving us. And what's happening is those ascension energies are coming in and basically hitting up against a structure, our body or our energy system, that has been depleted by things that are not good for us here, that are still being sold to us as food and other substances that we can consume. And so I think that that's part of it, is there's a push with this wave of energy coming through for us to not only like find our authentic self of who we are as spirit, but also to honor the avatar, the body that we're in, expressing that consciousness here in this world. And it's harder to do that right now in today's society with basically things that are not healthy for us that are being sold as healthy. And also the energies around the planet, like all the different satellites, and we have cell phones and Wi-Fi going all of the time, and that stuff is amazing and useful, but we haven't had a lot of time to get used to that yet. So for me, I really have to spend a lot of time grounding, like really just putting my feet on the ground, letting the sunlight early in the morning, late in the day, hit my body as much as possible, and to keep my diet like as clean as I can. And I've experimented many times with trying to go back to not doing that, and it doesn't work anymore. We're in a different world than we've ever been in before, and it's an incredible and special time to be here, where there's this great reveal happening for all of us. So I think that's why sometimes it's easier for some of us and harder for others. And sometimes it's harder for me than other times. Like sometimes I'm breezing through, I'm getting lots of information. And then there's other times it's not so easy, like difficult things come in. And for me, I see those as opportunities to find where my shadows are and try to deal with those in a way that helps me keep moving forward, because I think that's part of the impetus, is for us to let go of anything that's in our way, anything that's really not authentically us, things that have built up over this lifetime that we have I was thinking about like how we take on energy from other people and how we create narratives around that energy and we make it apply to our own lives. And so like those things get in our way and they block our progress, and these fears that we have about who, what might happen next or whatever that fear may be, it blocks our progress. And there's this big impetus right now in the energy for us to let all of that go and to be open to learning and to use fear as a teacher. That's a long answer.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Beautiful. I really love that, especially when you mentioned that even like the challenging experiences, they are opportunities. This is how you see them, and also for me, from my own experience, many times those experiences when they show up, even though they seem like very challenging in the surface, but then when I contemplate them, it's many times they are just preparing me for the next phase, or how I will be living my life, or creating things. And then I realized they were like really, really helpful. So yeah, so it's more about just letting go of the resistance in the place that we feel maybe comfortable with. Because sometimes when we don't have clarity, it can be challenging.
Yeah, it is. It's a challenge for all of us. And I think faith and learning to cultivate that within ourselves is part of our purpose here. I feel like this reality is basically a chaos reduction trainer for our soul, and for us to be able to find a higher perspective in every moment. It's like, okay, how does my soul see this right now? How does Source see this right now? I mean, I'm a reporter for Source, right? And so how can I change my perspective around this to make it a little easier, and just to take myself out of the fear. And I don't think we're expected to do that in a second. That we don't have a switch to do that. It takes a cultivation of faith that we are divine and that we are protected and that we have guidance. And it's just a matter of tapping into that guidance. And once we can do that more and more, and we let go of that fear and we have faith in that, then our perspective changes in a way that down the road, we actually feel more spiritual and we feel less bothered by the things that are happening here that we don't agree with.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And another thing, because you mentioned that these energies are helping us to, how to say, to align with our divine blueprint, or living our true purpose. But many times when we hear that, we try to define what it is, try to understand it, especially with our mind. So when you talk about that, the divine blueprints, our true purpose, what do you mean in general by that? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
I really do think that a very much overlooked part of our purpose is to experience joy, to find joy in a world of challenges, and to remember that everything we think and everything we feel is a creation. We're all co-creating this reality together with our thoughts and our feelings and our actions. And so that's a huge part of our purpose, is just to emanate out peace in whatever way we can. I heard an expression, if you like to bring peace, if you'd like to see the world more peaceful, bring peace to your own life, because we're all creating together. And so that I think that's a huge part of our purpose, is as a soul or a pure consciousness expressing ourselves in a reality that I truly do believe is a chaos reduction trainer for the soul and a teacher for Source and our guides. Then our purpose is to be able to open our hearts in a world of difficulty, in a world of people who won't easily open their hearts, because then that light starts to spread throughout humanity. It doesn't take everyone to do it. It just takes enough people that resonance moves out into the collective. And it's already happening. It's already starting. And truly, I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of negativity as well, is that there's a huge ramping up of positivity and of light happening. So our divine blueprint is we're a spark of Source. We're a projection, a direct connected energy to the Source creator. And I always think of myself, like I said earlier, as a reporter for Source. You think about like this great Source energy, God, larger consciousness system, whatever you like to call it, as a singular being who wanted to experience itself as more than singular. And so it breaks off pieces of itself as humans and dogs and cats and deer and birds and aliens and planets and crystals and all kinds of different energies that have their own experiences and always connected back. And so we come to learn and we come to teach. And we're not just teaching each other, we're teaching source, I think, and not to be, minimize it or anything, the great creator, but that is what's happening. It's a system, and we're reporting back our experiences and our information, and our guides are learning to be better guides from our experiences. And so I think that's the purpose, is we're here to grow, we're here to teach.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yes, so when we have this this feeling that we want to help, we want to support others, and also you talked about the dualities that is happening right now that we see in the physical reality, which is very pronounced, and we can see that this can some people can choose separation. So how can we navigate that and at the same time allow others to make their own choices?
For me, and it seems like for most people, the realization that if you're trying to control something that's beyond your control, you're probably not fully living your authentic self or in your purpose. You're spinning your wheels, so to speak. And so for me, try to look at it from that perspective. If I can't change it, then why am I going to spend my time and energy trying to control something I can't change, when I realize that I'm part of this creation as well, and that I have control over what I change in my own realm? And so I work on that. I see the terrible things going on. I don't like them. I don't agree with them. But I used to get really angry and embroiled in them, and they would slow me down. And I realized once I started doing this job, it didn't take too long to realize that I can't do this job if I'm always being pulled down by things that upset me. And why do that anyway? Because I can't control it from that level. I can only change the world from me, from here. And letting go of that need to make the change is huge. It's not up to any one of us to change the world or to change what we see happening. It's up to every single one of us to change our perspective and to bring a reduction of chaos to our own life, and that spreads to the people around us, and then we are teachers here as well as to our guides and to source.
Yeah.
So it's a
Beautiful.
practice, right, of just changing your perspective. In every difficult moment, you change your perspective, and it doesn't matter if what you change your perspective to is the actual situation or not. The point is, you take yourself out of that moment of anger or fear, and that gives your nervous system a chance to settle down, and then refocusing over time will change your perspective, and you won't get so upset about things anymore. And I used to not be able to watch things at all. Like, I was so sensitive, I wouldn't be able to get it back out of my head, and I'd be angry and upset and wonder why I was here. And now, through that practice, I can tell you, it took a long time, but it was worth it to keep doing it, and I have to keep doing it. But now I can look at those things and I can be like, okay, that happened. And it's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm not going to let it bring me down anymore, because that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to succumb to I guess what you would call victim mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Michelle, for that message. And also, another subject I would like to ask about is how the current ascension energies are supporting the activation of our psychic gifts, mediumship, and intuitive gifts. And so also we can see some who are experiencing like an opening or maybe a deeper connection to their gifts, but then they don't know what is the next step, what they do with that. And other people, maybe when they hear others who are their gifts are getting stronger and opened, but for them they don't see themselves having the same experience. So it's like they feel like maybe they start to judge themselves or compare themselves to others. So I would love if you can talk about those two.
Well, let's
different
start with that one.
experiences.
with the
Yeah.
comparing to others, because that's doubt. That's the vibration of doubt. So if you think about, I'm just going to make a metaphor. You think about like the emotional frequency chart, where love and gratitude would be way up high on the chart, and anger and shame would be way down low on the chart. You can think spirit's like way above that, right? In vibration, so to speak. And doubt, it's not high up. It's lower down. It's even lower probably than in the middle of how we could think about it. So that feeling of I'm not as good as other people, that brings you out of the vibration necessary to connect with the psychic information. So one of the very first things I learned when I started taking lessons in how to develop this was you have to let go of doubt. You have to let go of doubt and stop comparing yourself to other people. And here's the other part of it is we say things that, not purposely, but we say things that will mislead other people who haven't had our experiences. So for instance, I will say, I heard it, but I'm usually hearing it in my mind. I'm not always hearing it. In fact, it's usually not with my audible sense. It's usually a thought, but I feel it differently, and it feels like I heard it in my mind. So if I say, "Oh, I hear your dead grandmother telling me this," and you're like, "I never hear my grandmother," you might think, "Oh, well, how does she hear it and I don't hear it?" And you start comparing, but that's not even reality, right? You don't even know, but that's how we describe it. Or you may say, "Oh, I see your aura." They may not see it physically. They may have it in their mind's eye, because more often that's how clairaudience and clairvoyance work, is we either hear it in our mind's ear or we see it in our mind's eye. And so let go of the comparing. It will stop you from moving forward. And the other part of it is it's going to be different for you, most likely, than it is for other people. The way that I have experiences are very different from how clients describe their experiences. Now, sometimes they're the same, but sometimes they're very different. And so keep track of your own experiences. Start a journal where you keep track of all the synchronicities you have that you can, and all the psychic hits that you get, the knowings that you had, the times where you were laying in bed and suddenly you heard a word and you're like, or you thought a word and you're like, that I wasn't even thinking that. Start paying attention to that, because everybody already has all of the psychic abilities. And the way that you get stronger at them is by focusing on them and practicing them. I realized I was psychic, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I was just giving massages to people and thinking about the deceased loved one that was following them around. And so I started just telling it to people. And then they would say, "Yeah, that makes sense to me," or "No, that doesn't make sense to me." And I started learning from that. And I learned that it came different for me than it did for, Hollywood Medium, a show I was watching on TV, or Long Island Medium. It was different for me. And so I had to experience that for myself to understand how to keep moving forward with using my abilities. And I went to someone. I didn't really know what to do. So I knew it was there, it was raw, and I wanted to make it more refined and useful and accurate. And so I went to someone to help me with it. And I shared my experiences, and she would either validate them or not, or we would talk about what happened, and I learned from that. And then the energies that are coming through right now, they're affecting everybody. And so back to what I was talking about before with regard to your abilities coming online and how we're supported with these energies, how you can support yourself to accept these supporting energies is what I said, is to clean up your diet. It's one of the number one things. And unfortunately, and this is so frustrating, unfortunately, so many things that are not healthy have been sold to us as healthier. And this is a new world, and we have the answers within us. And so start listening to your body. Go out if you're having trouble, you're feeling blocked, you're having health problems. You're not going to accept those energies the same way. You're not going to integrate them the same way. You're going to have some difficulty in that. So try maybe an elimination diet where you find out the things that affect you and how they affect you, and then don't bring those things back to your life. You'll look into ways that you can um, start to decrease processed foods and sugars in your life. And sugar is all over the place. Heavy metals and fluoride, neurotoxins, even like substances we put on our body, be really careful with all of that stuff because it's a very different vibration than the energies, the new, or well, I'll just keep calling them ascension energies that we're feeling that are changing us on, I think, a DNA level. I think they're changing us on a cellular level to tap into our dormant abilities, the ones that we've had laying still this whole time that we weren't aware of. They're becoming more obvious for so many people. And the more you clean up and the more you practice, whether that practice is telling other people what you're picking up on, keeping a journal of things that you're hearing in your mind or seeing, just in some way, you have to start connecting with it to make it stronger. It's like a muscle. If I never exercise a muscle, it's not going to get stronger. And this is the same way as that. Did I totally answer that?
Yeah, yeah. I love that you mentioned it's like a muscle, because many times we want to have the experience right away and the results right away, and if it doesn't happen, then we think that this is not working for us. But it's yeah, it can be like a process.
It
So
is a process. Can I
yeah,
tell you about my clairvoyance journey?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
In the beginning, I didn't see anything at all. And so I learned I should start meditating and quieting my mind. So I started this practice of this thing they called meditation. And I bought some binaural beats and I put them in my earbuds and I started meditating with those. And I started to see lights. That was the first thing. So I started changing my brain waves with frequency and I started to see lights in the dark. Even with my eyes open, I would see these purple lights. And then suddenly I would be moving through a tunnel and there was some light at the end of the tunnel. And that went on for a while, like probably a year. And I kept practicing, I kept trying, and I focused on it. Like I really wanted it. And that's a big part of it. The more you want it, like the more that means you're more focused on it and you're creating that energy more and more. So that's a good thing. So I wanted it. I stayed focused on it. I listened to other people talk about how it worked for them without trying to compare myself, just trying to pick up tips. And then the next thing that happened, which really surprised me because it had never happened before, was suddenly when I was doing readings, I would see like a clear outline of a spirit. And that had never happened. I wanted that, but it did never happen for years. And finally, it started happening. And then I learned I could do a visualization exercise. You can visualize anything you want. I use the alphabet usually or numbers. And once I start focusing my attention on what those look like in my mind with my eyes closed, and you can start to see those, you create a different electromagnetic frequency within your being that changes you from less psychic to more psychic. This is scientifically shown, like with children who are reading with blindfolds on, riding bikes with blindfolds on, with focused attention, and a feeling of like gratitude and happiness and like wanting this, we actually really change our frequency to be more psychic. It's just natural part of who we are. Um, I forgot the question, Monsef.
Uh, it was a statement like it was a process. I mentioned it was a process, and
Right,
then you want to
right.
share your
So,
own.
so now, or it wasn't even a question, sorry. So now, with the visualization, now I see faces in meditation, and I can talk to them, and I'm having out of body experiences where I'm in contact with other kinds of beings, and so that has been a process. I mean, I started that in 2012, so it's been a long time coming. The faces just started about probably 2 years ago. So just to give you like a timeline, yours may be way faster, it may be slower, but that certainly didn't happen overnight for me.
Yeah, beautiful. And when did you feel guided to start sharing those gifts with others? How was your experience?
I was scared. I was really scared, but I was so driven to do it. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so this is kind of funny. I didn't really know of any mediums except for the one Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo. There was that TV show, and so I decided I was going to do it. And and at first, I could only do it if people were laying on the table while I was giving them energy work. I couldn't do the reading like sitting at my desk. It was just beyond my imagination to do that. And that's, of course, how I do it now. But that in the beginning, I was so afraid that I had to like start with something else and wait for it to come up instead of just sitting right down to do a reading. And so I was very afraid of being wrong in the beginning. I'm not so much anymore because what I found out is that sometimes you think you're wrong, but it just hasn't happened yet. Or you think you're wrong, but you got a metaphor for the answer instead of the direct answer. Like one time, a lady was picking up on a spirit who had, I may have told this story to you before, but was picking up on a spirit who had been a hair cutter. She cut hair for 50 something years. And the thing that came through for the person picking up on her was a sickle, which is a gardening cutting instrument. And so sometimes you think you get it wrong, but you really didn't get it wrong. Um, and I had to learn to get over that because if you're afraid of getting it wrong, you're going to censor important information from spirit. I remember one of the most meaningful things. One time I was in the middle of a sentence about something, and suddenly I just had this overwhelming urge to say the words Mack truck. And I stopped in the middle of the sentence, didn't care if I seemed stupid or not. I just stopped in the middle of the sentence and I said Mack truck. And it was a group reading, and everyone in the reading knew exactly who that spirit was at that moment. But 2 years prior to that, I would never have stopped in the middle of the sentence to say Mack truck. That just seemed crazy. But with those things that come to you like suddenly like that feel like a crazy thought, it's probably not you. And so some of the most meaningful things I've said to people have just been things that didn't make any sense at all. And so you have to let go of that, or you're going to censor important information, and then you'll also color it or taint it with your own thoughts because your intellect will start to take over. So
Yeah.
it was a process there too of just getting more and more used to doing it, getting more and more comfortable, keeping track of all the really good moments and learning from the ones that didn't go so well. And here's the other important part is if you beat yourself up when you get it wrong, you'll stop yourself from moving forward. And there's a lot of value to getting it wrong because then you know what wrong feels like. And if I'm in the middle of a sentence to somebody and I start to get that feeling of wrong, I'll be like, oh, Michelle, your mind's influencing you. And I change the answer to the opposite, I'll get it right. And so knowing what wrong feels like is so important. And people are like, I don't ever want to get it wrong. Like, you're going to get it wrong. You're having a human experience. And so your intellect is probably going to be stronger than your intuition. And the more you practice your intuition, then the more that can catch up with your intellect. So think of yourself like in every moment. Don't think of yourself as someone who needs to wait for their psychic abilities to start. They're already there. You are a spirit. You're not even here. They say if we take all of the atoms in all of the people who are here and we compress them tightly without any space in between, it's like the size of a pea. We're not even here, right? So remember that you are pure consciousness expressing yourself in this holographic reality. All those abilities are already there. Stop thinking of it as something that you have to learn to, and not learn, but that you have to attain. It's already there. You just have to learn to use it and to tune into it. And that's a huge part of the empowerment and letting go of the doubt is in every moment. Like I'll just be driving and I'll think about like the video games I used to play when I was a kid and those driving ones, and I'll think about that. I'll be like, I'm doing that right now. I'm just a spirit having an experience. I'm washing dishes and I'll be like, wow, I probably can't wash dishes outside of my body in the same way. This is a really unique experience. And so try in every moment to like every mundane moment of your life, try to remember that you're not only a spirit having this experience, but you're also helping source.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much. I really love your personal experience because it really inspires us. Because many times also we have doubts when sharing our message or gifts with others. So yeah, that was really very inspiring. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Yeah.
And so can we take questions from the audience?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, so everyone, if you want to ask your question, you can raise your hand on Zoom by pressing react or reaction, then raise hand. And if you are on the phone, you can press *9. Also, you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And we have a question on YouTube from Twisku. Question about light language and movements. I got activated in me in 2018, but I stopped doing it because I don't really consciously understand it. How to bridge it into conscious understanding?
Okay, that's a great question, and I encourage you to use it because the purpose of it is not to understand it on a conscious level. It is a vibrational language, and sometimes that vibration is through you moving your body in certain ways that move energy, and sometimes it's through talking in language. Now, I'm going to talk about the language part of it because it's the most easy way for me to explain why this is real and why it's useful. Is that I'll start by saying we've had a lot of lifetimes of speaking different languages and being in different worlds, and we are consciousness projecting into some sort of virtual reality. There's a network of information that we are connected in with, and that includes the languages. And so I speak many languages that I've never learned, and they're not like the sentence won't be one language. It'll be a conglomeration of different languages to make a sentence because it's not about necessarily what those words mean, even though they do have meaning. It's about the vibration that those words make. Every letter, every word, every sound makes a vibration. Every movement makes a vibration. And so our soul knows that about us in this avatar, in this body, and it can basically impulse us, give us impulses to speak certain words or to move in certain ways to change our electromagnetics, to change our frequency for whatever it is we need in that moment. We don't always know what that is in the moment, and that's the beauty of spirit guidance. And that's one of the beautiful things about light language is that whether it's through spoken word or whether it's through movement, we don't need to know what we need. We just need to trust. There's faith again. We just need to trust and allow that to occur. And so the spoken word of light language, I've learned those are real words from different languages. The first time I ever realized that, it was pretty mind blowing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I used it in front of a group of people. And a man from India informed me that I was speaking Hindi and Sanskrit. And I've heard people speak all kinds of different languages that they've never learned over the years, including myself. And so that to me proved that it was encoded in us. It's part of who we are. It's part of the network. We have access to all of the information, and our soul can tap into that through us. And our guides can use it not only to change our expression electromagnetically, but also to give us messages that bypass our conscious mind. So, say you have an urge to move in a certain way with light language. Maybe it's because your soul energy or one of your guides realizes that if you move in this certain way, it's going to open up a certain meridian flow of energy, and then you're going to feel better, right? So, the same thing with the words. We can receive a message on a level that bypasses our conscious mind. We can receive messages from our guides, from source, from our higher self in a way that we don't create resistance around the message. If someone told me 20 years ago I would be doing this right now, I'd have been like, I have no idea how to get from here to there. I was a flight nurse. How do I do that? That makes no sense to me. So, but instead, I think I got guidance on a subconscious level, which gave me dreams and urges and desires. And so that's light language. It's a way for our higher self, our guides, our source to work through us, and it's a way for us to change our frequency to one that is needed in the moment. And also, we can use it to manifest because we can change our frequency with it. So that's one of the big reasons I use light language is for manifestation. And I had some doubt in the beginning too, and when I found out though that it was real words from different languages, and then I started hearing other people do it, I couldn't have doubt about it anymore. It's just been too many people to have that. So also, what comes to mind just before I end this answer is the more you use it, probably the more it will develop, and the more you'll feel like using it. If you're not being exposed to information that causes you to doubt it. The other day, I get a lot of light language videos on my YouTube feed, and one came up that I clicked, and it was actually someone making fun of light language. And it's not good to expose yourself to that kind of information. It will bring you into that vibration of doubt, and that's one of the reasons why it's so easy to go into doubt. is that we live in a world of a lot of people awakening, but there's a lot of people who doubt what we're talking about today, and they just don't know the scientific reasons why it's real. That's they have some ignorance around that, and so try to let that go and stand in your own light and trust in yourself is what I have to say about it. I think it's one of the most incredible and misunderstood and underused gifts that we have.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the answer, and Trisco Shirot, thank you so much for the answer, Michelle. That was helpful.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad it was.
Yeah, thank you, Trisco. And we have Nat. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could just maybe give me a quick read about next steps, or if there's like a loved one that's coming through, like possibly my mother, but just some next steps. I'm going through this transitional phase, and I have to make a decision over the next month, and I'm just going back and forth about it. So there's some anxiety.
Would it make sense if I said stay where you are?
Oh, okay. I kind of take that to mean just not do what I was planning on doing, which
That's
was
what
like
I
a
heard
really
was
big, scary step. And I was just questioning if I should be working with this person or not. And I've met some new people, and it's a new direction, but I'm just sort of doubting it a little bit. And I also had light language come through like last week a little bit, just out of the blue, which that was interesting as well.
so that's wonderful. And so what came through while you were talking was that there's something that I was feeling that was going to take you out of yourself. And it really felt like it went back to something around doubt. It,
Yes, there's been a lot of that.
but it felt like the whatever this next step that you were thinking about doing, it felt like somehow it diminished you, is what I felt. Like there was something.
Oh, like I felt like I was giving away my power to work with this specific person, but it just seemed like after doing so many other things, it like my mind was saying, yes, you should do that. But then I met these new people, and it's a slightly different path, but it's really faith-based. So it's like taking a deep plunge, but not being sure what's going to happen and just having to be guided by faith with that. So it's like I can maybe just fix my own problems instead of going with this person that I was going to work with. But
The feeling that I have around it as you speak is a feeling of someone's already working with you. There's already a guide working with you, and I have this feeling of I'll see metaphors when I'm answering questions for people, and I saw this situation from my own life where I went to a healer, and she had some unknown things happening in her life, and I was such an empath that I started to take on problems from her without knowing it. And I was leaving the sessions not feeling good. And I would like get in my car and I'd start crying and I didn't know why. And I would go through this crazy doubt around it. I finally stopped going. And I had some feeling around that for you, like there was somebody somehow that could take you out of your power. So I think the answer is whatever you decide to do, make sure that you don't let anyone take you out of your power or tell you that you're wrong or that you have to do it. Uh, I won't say,
I think,
yeah,
yeah, I
go
think I
ahead.
understand what you're saying. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's
Okay.
okay. That's okay. And then did your mom die of something with the breathing or the chest?
No, it was like bladder related.
I don't think I've got your mom, but there's somebody showing me their chest area and breathing.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I felt so much anxiety last night. I didn't sleep, and I wasn't sure if it was collective or mine or what it was, but I just felt like I was vibrating with energy. So I don't know if that was a download or what that was, but it just seemed to affect me. And you were talking about empaths like at the beginning. So yeah, I just thought I'd raise my hand, but thank you.
You're welcome. I really do feel like that you're being worked with and that you are it feels like you're having even more of an awakening, but that you're going to start receiving even more information. So I don't know what your situation is, what you have to decide, but the answer that I can give you is whatever it is, don't move forward with it if it in any way diminishes you or takes you out of your power.
Okay, thank you so much. That was perfect. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Nat.
Yeah. Thank you, Nat. And thank you, Michelle, for the guidance. let's see. Since Nature on YouTube wrote, thank you, Michelle. And also Annette on Zoom, as the minutes go by, I'm loving watching the light move up the wall to your right through the lotus.
Oh. The sun's coming in. Thank you.
And also she asked, what kind of questions would you like to be asked today?
I'm happy to answer any question you ask me, and if I don't have the knowledge to answer it, I will tell you so. But I'm happy to answer any questions, especially about psychic abilities, mediumship, light language, how to embody yourself, embody your spirit more in your expression as a human. I'm open.
Wonderful. And Renee, she wrote, do we typically have more than one clair to begin using? How do we know which type of clair it is?
We all have all of the clairs, but in some of us, some will be stronger than in others. Like for me in the beginning, well, I'll tell you, most people, clairsentience, clear feeling, and claircognizance, clear knowing, are the two strongest, most basic abilities I think that we're in touch with. Like we all have feelings about situations, about people, and we all have knowings about things. Those are the easy ones. And the way that you strengthen them, one way is to keep track of them. To when you have a feeling about something and it turns out that that gets validated, remember that or write it down, keep a journal. I highly recommend you keep a journal of things because you'll forget. Or when you hear something that didn't make any sense to you, and then maybe later you turn on the TV and then you hear that same word that you've never heard before, right? That's a synchronicity. Keep track of that, because the more you keep track of it, the more you become attuned to it, and the more you notice it, and it happens more the more you do that. Clairvoyance, clear seeing, and clairaudience, clear hearing, those two, we all have them as well, but it's important to realize that they are usually going to come as your own thoughts. As an adult, they'll probably come as your own thoughts more than likely. I've told this story before, but it's one of the most prominent moments to teach me this. Was one day I was just walking to my desk carrying a cup of tea, and I was trying not to spill it. I wasn't thinking of anything else except don't spill your tea, when suddenly I felt like a random thought, head-on collision. I called the woman who was getting the reading from me, and the only spirit she wanted to connect with was her granddaughter who died in a head-on collision. And it was just a thought to me. So remember that. Remember that those thoughts, those thoughts of seeing something, those thoughts of hearing something, those are often spirit, especially when you weren't thinking about that or when it doesn't make any sense to you. And there are specific exercises you can do to strengthen those clairs, the hearing and the seeing. And one of them I already told you about was with visualization exercises. Binaural beats will help change your brain waves to be more attuned to that. And then an exercise for clairaudience listening is just to be quiet, to meditate, and to keep your mind quiet by just trying to hear every sound that you can hear. And that will help build your ability for clairaudience. But we all have all of the clairs. We all have access to all of them. They may not feel online all the way. They may not be fully online for you if you haven't used them or practiced them. If I never use my eyes my whole life and then I open them, I'm not sure they're going to work so well. So we have to practice that in ways that we can keep track of, and they will strengthen. I mean, like I said before, I didn't see anything in the beginning, and now I see a lot. So I also do this several days a week. So remember, consistency and focus are the key.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you, Renee, for your question. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can type it on the chat. And yeah, we have more questions coming in. We will take them in a little bit. And just before that, I would love if you can tell us about the one-on-one sessions that you are offering for those of our audience who feel guided to work with you. So we have 3 sessions: 60-minute one-on-one psychic medium reading, 60-minute one-on-one mentorship for psychic and spiritual growth, and 60-minute one-on-one sacred light code activation. And I invite everyone to visit the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, MICHELLE. or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description, and I will add it to the chat boxes on both Zoom and YouTube. So yeah, so Michelle, I would love if you can tell us about the sessions.
Sure, thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
I do readings, so you can ask me anything in a reading. They're about all different subjects. I will answer questions as to the best of my ability. I'll connect with your spirit guides, and I can connect with departed loved ones. It can take me a little bit more time to connect with a departed loved one than just right off the bat, but I can do that. And you can ask me about career, health, future, past lives, um, energy. Really, there's nothing off limits. And if spirit doesn't want us to know the answer, I won't get it. But I'm pretty good at getting answers. So the reading is just whatever you need in the moment. And then some people don't have particular questions. They just want to see what spirit has to say. And I'm happy to do that as well. Probably half the readings I do, people have specific questions, and the other half, they just want to see what comes up from spirit. I also use tarot cards. I have an angel deck that I like to use, and so I like to get validation through the deck as well. And then mentorship, I'll just meet people wherever they are in terms of where they are with like progression of their spirituality and their abilities, and I can help you practice. I can give you feedback on your experiences and help you move forward with them as well. So that's the mentoring. And then the light language activation, light code activation is a session where we will talk a little bit about light language. I can answer any questions you have. And then I'll do some work on your energy using light language to get you aligned and open to speaking the language of your soul. And then I will have you repeat some words that spirit gives me that will help activate you. And then I'll have you try to speak it on your own. And if that doesn't happen the first round, we'll keep going with the repeating until you start speaking it. And most people start speaking it, say during the first half of the session, or sometimes it takes a good 30 minutes or so, but usually around the first half of the session, people will start speaking it. Some people do take longer and some people are faster. It just depends on where they are. And then we'll complete the session by building the light language by having a conversation in light language. And I will mirror back your words and help build your ability that way. So those are the sessions.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Michelle,
Thank you.
for being available and also offering the different kind of sessions. Yeah, and also I remember from what you shared with me, there was great feedback from those who worked with you before and had sessions. So really happy that's for the experience, and yeah, always honored to share your work here with our audience. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everyone, yeah, I really recommend that you work with Michelle. And again, you can find the sessions on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, MICHELLE. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And yeah, so can we continue with the questions?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
be
first
happy
we
to.
have feedback from Renee. Thank you. Yes, I will be open to all clairs until I notice which one comes through strongest.
And I'll comment to that as well,
Yeah.
is when you notice which one is strongest, work with that one for a little while and then add in another one. Don't try to necessarily build all of them at once. Try to focus on a couple of them that feel the strongest to you and build that a little while and then move into the others. You might do better that way because your focus will be more precise. And probably what will happen is if you start focusing on the ones that you have strength with and you start working with those, you're going to notice the other ones are starting to open up more.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Renee. She wrote, thank you, very helpful. And Annette wrote, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could teach speaking light language.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Francine, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you, Ansef. Thank you, Michelle.
Hi, Francine. Thank you.
Hi. I was hoping to get some guidance around moving and also health, if possible.
Sorry if I interrupt, because we have many who wants to ask their questions. Maybe you focus on only one aspect,
Okay,
please.
moving then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Give me just a moment to try to tune into you, Francine. Hold on. I'm not sure if you're trying to determine whether or not you should move, but it feels like a move is supported right now for you, and it feels like uh, feels like something will open up for you with a move. And I'm not sure which direction, but it feels like east. Are you thinking of moving to the east of where you are?
I was thinking of moving within the same state. Um, um, and just, and just really, looking for, a good opportunity. I think it's important for me to move, but I want to make the right choice and find a good opportunity.
It does feel like a good move, and it does feel like opportunities open up for you. And when you're looking for a place, I would start in the direction of east and see if you see something in that area of where you live, where you're thinking about. Uh, I heard supported again. It reminds me of when I moved from a different part of Oregon to the part where I am now. I had an astrology reading, and she said, "You're really supported by the energies right now for this move, and new opportunities will open for you. And if you don't do it now, you won't be supported in the same way for the next 10 years." And I feel like that same thing around you. It feels almost like it's kind of time sensitive for you to do that. And I don't know if this has to do with your career, but it feels like something monetarily might open up for you
Great.
with a move.
Great.
So I heard go for it. You're welcome. And I would say look east and also south were the two directions that came up from where you are.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. Good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Francine. And thank you, Michelle, for the guidance. We have, let's see, a question from Sequoia. I am having a really hard time trying to decide what career to go into or whether to go back to school. Do you have any guidance?
I heard healer, that you have some sort of healer energy, and that can be applied to a lot of different places in life. For me, I didn't quite know what to do with that, so I became a nurse. That was just in my world the easiest thing, the most logical thing to do. But I'm feeling around healer energy with you, and also empathic energies. I'm wondering if you have any kind of interest in coaching or counseling. It feels like you're the energy of what we call a way shower, someone who's here to help other people. I saw like growing from pain, people who have been through difficult experiences. It feels like you have a way to connect with those types of people. And I don't know if maybe you have some specific experiences of pain that help you be a better, oh, feels like coach for them, or guide or guidance system for them. So that can come in a lot of ways, right? That can be an energy worker, that could be a nurse, it could be a doctor, it could be a customer service agent who is providing the energy of relief to people. It could be a lawyer. It can come in a lot of different ways. But what I feel for you is there's a really strong aspect of healer and way shower for you. And again, I keep getting the feeling of helping people through a situation. I hope that
Okay, I
resonates.
unmuted myself. Yeah, that makes sense because I've been trying to decide whether to go back to school to get my degree in like counseling. So
It feels
yeah,
really right for you.
okay. Great. That's so helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sequoia. The other thing I want to say is you don't necessarily need to go get a master's degree in counseling. I feel like you could become a coach of some sort if you wanted to take a faster route, and then you could expand on your education more down the road. You could do it either way, is how I feel. And for some people, I think they will have to take the longer route first. But for you, it seems like you have some very natural inclinations toward this, that you could even probably take an online type coaching program and get started pretty soon. And you're going to pick up on things about people because you have, I feel like you have a strong clairsentience ability to just feel people and situations.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Okay. Great. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sequoia. And thank you, Michelle, for the guidance. And let's see. So, Tina, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Gina.
Hi. I guess if there's any message from my loved ones or anything, actually for my highest good, if it's something to do with something else, whatever may come through.
Tina, do you have a specific connection to like the earth or to the, I feel like a planetary connection, like maybe somebody that they would call like a grid worker?
I don't know. I know I have a lot of connection with rocks and crystals, like in one location.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like I'm feeling this connection with the earth. And earlier when I was saying that the only thing we need to do is, or that the main thing we need to do is emanate out peace from us, I saw that with you, but like with a connection to the earth, like you have a ability to, you have some sort of angelic connection I'm seeing like moving through you, and that through your own heart, I see that you can make corrections in the energy grid of where you are. Are you in the Southeast by any chance?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania, but you
Oh.
just when you said that, my whole body just got like, I felt like something moved through me. A big
The
old
reason
rush and full body chills, like, whoa, oh my goodness. I almost
the reason I asked about Southeast, I think my mind went to a specific place I was in, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where there had been some war type stuff happen, some damage there to the land, and I was feeling a connection like that for you, where through like look up Heart Math if you don't know who the Heart Math Institute is, and how we vibrate out the emanations from our heart, like at least 3 feet out from our body. And I was seeing like your heart coming, your energy of your heart coming out and connecting to the land for healing. That's what I saw.
I'm in a massive move. Like I'm trying to find a place to move out of where I'm at because it's really unhealthy. But there's a place where I got like I had 5 truckloads of crystals and stuff I collected over 15 years when I moved. But I partied with them, took them back to the land. But that place I always felt connected, like I've been there before or something like that. But I never really even thought about a grid worker. Like I hear people talk about it, but wow.
I really would have to look up the definition of grid worker, but that's what I heard, was that you can infuse your own energy through peace of mind into the planet, into the earth. And remember I said like there was that wave of energy coming through right now for us to realize who we are. Well, I think that connecting with earth is part of that, is getting information in that way. And so the more we can clean up the grid lines of the planet and the energy of the planet from, destructive things that have happened, then the more easily Earth can communicate information to us. I think we're basically removing blocks from Mother Earth is what I see you doing. And so the ultimate message here is it's even more important for you to bring peace to your own life. And so I'm glad to hear that you're looking for a more peaceful place to live, because it feels like you are easily manifesting right now because of this ability that you have. And it also feels like it's coming online more because we're in a critical state on the planet of wanting to purify. That's a big message.
Yeah, I had full body chills, and oh my gosh, you just make my smile, my heart just feels so big, and yes, yes, and yes.
That's what they want you to feel, Tina. Keep feeling it and
Yes.
remember this, and connect with your guides, because they're already helping you do this work. You're here to do this, and that's why you feel so connected to crystals, and why you have so many, why you collected them for 15 years, and you bringing them back and putting them back is also very telling about who you are. So,
And it's funny because when I just went to my storage unit, and the only thing I wanted out of them was the 3 big, huge rocks I have in there.
You need that connection. You need to get out there and put your feet on the ground. It's very
Yeah,
important for you
yeah.
to be grounded.
Oh, I have them all around me constantly. I mean, I don't even, like, I never had to look for them. They just come to me. They're just there. So, and I look at them and I see things in them that other people don't see. So yeah, I've always known it's a connection. I just didn't know how deeply. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. They're communicating with you, and make sure you're putting your bare feet on the ground outside when you can.
Yes. Thank you very much. Much love,
Thank,
y'all.
thank you,
Bye.
Tina, and thanks for working on the earth.
Yeah. Thank you, Tina. And thank you, Michelle, for the guidance. First, we have a feedback from Twisco on YouTube. The one I read her question first. Feedback to my earlier light language question. I now started moving my body intuitively, and it's feeling very healing and aligning.
Oh, good, good. Keep doing it. It'll become more so the more you do it. And you're sharing energy. You're not just doing it for yourself. Like now you're emanating that out.
Beautiful. Thank you, Twisco. And Deborah, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Hi, thank you, Masa. And Michelle, I'm just enjoying everything what you're sharing about here. It's so good.
Thank you, Deborah. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I just have a really I do have light language. I think I had it years back, and then I kind of thought that was more in faith-based, and I kind of left it alone for quite a few years, and so it's just really getting back and flowing, and it's beautiful. And so I know it's really energizing and empowering. I too have a real connection for grid worker. I don't think quite as intense as Tina did, but yeah, really, and also the cosmos. So that's me. But my question is just really anything that you feel led. My question initially was to connect more with the ancestors that have my highest good. I was betrayed and deeply wounded by my family of origin, and but I know my calling is to like the grid worker to make things right, and that's my path. And so I have done some. Sometimes I've done some healing that has affected ancient ancestors, and I know they're very thankful, but I just can't connect with them. So whatever it is that you feel guided with, thank you. I'm just honored by your presence and your gifting.
Thank you. And back to you. You have a very strong connection with a group that I have a strong connection with I call them Divine Mother Collective. And they are the energy, you could say the Christed energies, unconditional love, compassion energies. And give me just a moment here to see what they have to say about you. Yeah, they want me to tell you about so doing it in a speaking light language in a faith-based environment is it's the same thing as light language, except that the intention is different, and that you actually received benefit from that is what I saw. That it continued to upgrade your system is what I want to say, and that you made a specific connection, and you will again. Maybe you already are. I see like timelines out of your family, your ancestry in both future and past, what we call future and past. And that through light language, you actually can emanate out into the future and into the past for healing in your ancestry. And that is part of the reason why you were so different from the rest of your family, is that you came into your family for healer purposes that other people weren't going to realize about. They didn't realize was going to need to happen. I feel like you're the one with the self-awareness, and you're the one who's the empath. And so it is through your thoughts that you send healing into the ancestry. And that includes into the future. I don't know what word to use for that, the future of your lineage, wherever that may be.
Vision.
What's
I've
that?
had that vision. I've had extremely powerful vision about it being both. Yes.
Yeah, me too. And so they say that Divine Mother Collective says all you really have to do is practice compassion and to your thoughts, like direct your thoughts out to whatever situation you feel like needs healing. When you feel like you can't make a difference, that you actually can make a difference through your thoughts and through your light language, even into like the negative things that happened in the past. And you can revisit even situations in your life and use light language for that, whoever you are at that, like whatever age that was that happened. You can use light language to repattern that. Say maybe something happened when you were a little girl, you could use light language with the intention of repatterning that little girl's water and that little girl's vibration. And that's another way that it just keeps healing. And I see it like a perpetuation, like moving almost like a slinky, like a spiral, moving into the future and past.
Well, that's so beautiful. And so, yes, I just had my vision back right away. And it was, yeah, you've just,
the world needs you.
Beautiful.
You're here to do this. You're here to help heal things and to help with the cleansing.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
God
Thanks for
bless
being
you.
here.
You're so powerful. I'm really blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. And
Thank you,
thank you,
Melissa.
Michelle. Thank you. And thank you, Michelle, for the guidance. Yeah, we have a question on YouTube from Since Nature. I feel like I'm not in the career place I'm supposed to be. I need to be doing something else, but stuck on the next step. I just want to know what you see for me regarding that.
Okay. Let me take a moment with that. It feels like something medical or in a healing space, but more clinical. I'm not quite sure where you are, but that's what it feels like. But I'm seeing it like a change to babies being born. Have you ever thought about being a birth doula? Now I accidentally said death doula, or starting to. So now I'm wondering if I channeled that. And so I'm going to just say there's birth doulas who assist people, the mother, through the process of birth, and there's death doulas who assist people through the process of death, and they're becoming more popular. Birth doulas have been around for a long time, but death doulas are more gaining popularity. And I feel like you have a mediumship capability where it would help you in either of those realms. The death doula, you will really need a you wouldn't even need much education for that. I feel like you already have a lot of what you need with experience in talking to people and dealing with people. And so I do know there's an online certification that's not very long for that you could look into. But doula is what I'm hearing. Like you're assisting someone through getting through the process of something difficult. And it's interesting because there's death and there's birth. There's those two things, and so one end and then the other, and it feels very aligned. But I really can't tell which one it is for you. I'm wondering if you would do well in either. I don't know if you're still there, but I would love to know if any of that resonates with you. I feel like you have a very big purpose in helping ease the pain of other people.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle. And let's see if Since later, if we'd love to hear your feedback, you can type it on the chat. And yeah. So we have one more question from Annette. Since I was a little girl, I believed I was a singer. Growing up, I was told to be quiet. I was too loud. Anyway, can you see if I speak light now through practicing my voice?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like you're already speaking light language. It's already there. It feels like you're already speaking it. So I don't know if you're asking me if you can speak it or if it's real what you're doing, but either way, the answer is yes. And it's such a strong feeling of you have a connection to a group called the Children of Light that I have channeled in the past, and I just saw Children of Light. Um, I see like your energy from being a child and being stifled, and that wasn't you. That was the people around you. That was their dysfunction and problems with their own nervous systems, and you were here to shine, and you're still here to shine. And your light language is. I feel like I want to hear it because it feels very powerful to me. So I don't know if you started yet or if you're going to start, but it's real for you. And if you haven't already started, just listen to some other people speaking it and try to speak it and see what happens, because it feels very strong in you, an innate ability that you've already used. Maybe you're doing it now. Maybe it was when you were younger. I don't have clarity on that, but yeah, you're here to do it. And you're here to be heard, whether that's singing or whether it's through guiding people. You are here to be heard, held.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Michelle. Annette Charlotte, thank you. I want to hear you, Michelle.
You want to hear me speak light language? Is that what you said?
Probably, yeah.
I think I'm not. Yeah, I can do it. Is that what I'm being asked? Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to call on a transmission for the entire group of anyone who's here today and anyone who listens to the replay, for it to assist you in embodying yourself, or being embodied as a spirit, seeing yourself as a spirit in as many moments as you can, and really feeling the connection to your guides and to your power. You are far from home and you've forgotten your power, and this is going to be a transmission to help you remember it. This is Divine Mother Collectives. Isamare kinashom maya karastira na shanti. Hapurana sakya no shanti oromaki. Halan 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 natura. Ikia moya istai. Apurananji katoyamaka. Itatalanga kumaiti. Push anda itaya. Itum hatira sota. Kayo sumoye. Iton achika. Salano shumba. Isakane orosoye. Isanoriamo. Isanarianguchi. Isanariamo. Ayoma enioma, eonare asumare ki ayoma ye, yeom, hihome amoye, ina sandi aroso, ina shanti omaya, ina tangi achi, asomaye, alan otur haya, omaya tum, asandiom haya.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really love your light language. So thank you for sharing it with us. And yeah, so Deborah Sherrod, thank you, Michelle. That was so powerful for me that you saw my purpose towards the earth, my ancestors and lineage to come, and all of humanity even now.
Thank you. I'm grateful for your work.
Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, so Michelle, thank you so much for everything you shared with us today. It was really inspiring. The guidance you gave us, your own personal stories, light language, the support you gave to our audience. So really thank you for everything you shared.
Thank you. I feel really honored and just so happy right now. Thank you all for sharing and for being here. Appreciate it. Beautiful. And thank you, Monta, for doing this amazing show.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And Gina Sherrod, thank you. Beautiful. With a heart.
How do you do that? There we go.
Yeah. Claudia, thank you so much. Annette, love. So yeah, there is a feedback from Since Nature on YouTube. Thank you. Do I feel that I have seen people who passed away, but only in my dreams?
That's a legitimate way of seeing them.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Since Nature, for the feedback. Sequoia, she wrote, I felt so peaceful when you spoke light language. Thank
I'm
you,
happy
Sequoia.
to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah. So so everyone, thank you so much for being here with us, whether on the live call or the replay. Thank you for the comments, the questions, sharing with us this time, your beautiful energies. Always happy to connect with you. And again, you can sign up for one of the one-on-one sessions that Michelle is offering to us on the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, MICHELLE. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And so with that, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye for now.
Thank you. Much love.